Who has ever heard of a message to Garcia? So a message to Garcia is often used in the military, and Jeffrey Vincent Murph McCarthy was in the military. He was a two-time class president, first time that's happened since David Robinson. Although he doesn't like to shave, he somehow managed to make his way into some kind of an ethics committee. He did 7 tours of duty in Iraq and Afghanistan, and he's currently the women's rugby head coach. So he's a military guy, and he's a very interesting dude. That's him in the middle with his mom and his dad. That's him playing rugby, and he looks pretty rugged. But let me show you something from Murph. This is about 3 minutes. It's pretty funny. He curses, sometimes more than me, so I apologize in advance. Just give this a listen.
So, taking the message to Garcia, what does it mean to me? So, when I was a recruit at Paris Island, you know, when you're a recruit, you're bottom of the totem pole. You're basically a piece of shit under all and certain conditions. But a lot of the times, the drill instructors, who were basically, one step below Jesus Christ himself in the hierarchy, they would tell you to go do something. And you don't really have a conversation with a drill instructor. Like, you have to request permission to speak, then you have to speak in the third person. And a lot of times, that was not what they were after. They gave you something to do, and they wanted you to just do it and shut up and don't ask any stupid questions, because you're obviously stupid because you're a Marine recruit at Paris Island. So, you know, I remember one incident where this guy, I think his first name was Dan Zinicola. He was such a bag smasher. He was like, McCarthy, get in that goddamn gear locker, and I want the whole thing squared away. And this was early on in the adventure, so squared away. Did he want me to inventory it? Did he want me to restack it? Because I was just in there, and I thought it looked amazing. So I started to ask him a question, and there was like an inspection involved. Not by him, by somebody else that was coming in the unit to inspect it. And he like grabbed me by the throat. He's like, just take the fucking message to Garcia. And I was like, okay. And I got in that gear locker and shut the door. And I was like, who the hell is Garcia? And why am I taking him a message? And about 3 minutes later, this other guy named Sergeant Collishaw came in and knocked over all 3 shelves and just completely wrecked my gear locker. And I don't even know if that was choreographed. I think I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. So I didn't learn what it was yet. But then oftentimes somebody would get tasked with something, and they would be told to just take the message to Garcia. Then I started to pick up on, like, there was rules that everybody knew. And when the drill instructors wanted you to do something and they wanted you to break rules, they would just say, take the message to Garcia. That means, you know, take care of what needs to be done, hide the bodies. And that is, so one of the things when I'm saying take the message to Garcia, like, I don't want to know how you do it, because clearly I've been briefed on what we're allowed to do, what we're not allowed to do, and the rules in place don't make it possible, and we've been told to make it possible. So just take the message to Garcia. The other way is kind of the same thing, but not hide the bodies. Is like, this is not a time for mentorship. This is not a time for you to ask me 16 questions. This is a time for you to just take what I gave you and go away. Let's play a game called Go Away. Just take the message to Garcia. Those are the 2 ways. You're either hiding bodies, or, you know, this is not a conversation. Just go take care of this. We don't need to discuss it. It's pretty simple. Now, go away.
So a few things about this that I think are interesting. A Message to Garcia's widely distributed essay. It was published in the Philistine in 1899. It was about President McKinley getting a letter to someone in Cuba 130 years ago. Nixon even said it in the Watergate tapes about taking a message to Garcia. But I think there's no better way than this to conclude it.
And so fast forward, you know, I never got the story on who Garcia was. And, my career went pretty well as a Marine. Eventually it took them 25 years to figure out how to get rid of me. But when I was a aspiring private first class and Lance Corporal, I was told that, I was going to go to a promotion board, and then I needed to be very familiar with the Commandant's reading list. And the first thing on that reading list, at the top of the list, was a message to Garcia. And I'm like, so that's an actual thing? There's an actual message to Garcia? And then I read it, and I thought, oh my God, this is one amazing, unbelievably sarcastic diatribe about taking initiative that I believe I will pass on for the rest of my life. And, here we are, 28 years later, and I tell somebody to take the message to Garcia probably every 3 days or so, I would say.